laboring for Christ. There are special times when God is pleased to reveal himself to his people. I never found a lazy Christian have a manifestation of Jesus Christ. I never heard of a man who gave himself wholly to business, talking much of spiritual manifestations. He has got a religion enough to save him, but not enough to make him realize the spiritual and special blessings of a Christian. Those who do but little for Christ, Christ does but little for them in the way of special favors. Those who sit down, fold their arms, eat, drink, and are satisfied are not the men who enter into the secret chamber of the Most High and enjoy the presence of the Almighty. The men who are the most zealous for their Master discern the most of his loving kindness and enjoy the richest blessings from the Lord. Ask a Christian when he is the happiest. He will say, when he works the most, "I know I am. I have not tried rest yet, and no doubt I shall find it anything but rest when I have it. When I pass a day without preaching my Master's name, I feel that I have not done what I ought to have done, and I do not rest satisfied till I am on the pulpit again preaching." When we work the hardest, we feel grace the most plentiful. When we dig the deepest, we get the sweetest water. He who toils the most has his bread the most sweetened. We shall always have mere happiness the more we labor for Christ. The man who is idle must have chastisement. But he who serves his God may rejoice, for God will treat him with dainties. He will give him his portion mixed with honey. He will say, "I have taken thy bread and dipped it in my own dish. Take it and eat it, for thou art one who works in my own vineyard." Do not imagine that the time of your sickness will be vain either. You are not only profiting yourselves, but actually serving God by your suffering if you bear it patiently. For it is written, "We fill up that which is behind of the sufferings of Christ, for his body's sake, which is the church." Christ's body is made up of all the members. The head had a certain amount to suffer, but the body has a measured portion to endure also. And the more you suffer so much, the less suffering there is for somebody else. There is a certain quantum of trial which the whole church has to sustain before it gets to heaven. For as Jesus Christ was afflicted, even so the whole of his people must have fellowship with his sufferings. There is a cup that is full of mixture, and the righteous must drink it. We must all have a sip thereof. Let us not complain, for it is in the time of trouble when we see most of Jesus. Before Israel fought Amalek, God gave them water from the rock and sent them manna from heaven. And before Jacob met Esau, the angel of God wrestled with him at the brook Jabbok, and hosts of angels met him at Mahanaim. You may generally expect a season of joy, and when that season of joy is over, you may say, "We must expect some danger now, for we have received too much delight." But when the fiery trial does come, have delight with it, for our troubles are generally proportioned to our joys, and our joys are usually proportioned to our troubles. The more bitter the vessel of grief, the sweeter the cup of consolation. The heavier the weight of trial here, the brighter the crown of glory hereafter. Have you not had better visions of Jesus when you have been racked with pain? When the barn has been full, the oil vat has been bursting, and the wine has been running over, it is often then that the sanctuary of God has been forsaken, and the cabinet of God's loving kindness is nearly disregarded. But when the fig tree does not blossom, and when the stalls are empty, that's when God often comes nearest to his children, and most reveals himself to them.